Today we're looking at chapter 8 of my book, Walking in Line, Embracing the Imperatives of Jesus. And this chapter is called Love is Something That You Do. And it has the challenging statement on loving our neighbors. So here we go. You have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, so that you may be children of your Father in heaven. For he makes his sun rise on the evil and on the good, and sends rain on the righteous and on the unrighteous. For if you love those who love you, what reward do you have? Do not even the tax collectors do the same? And if you greet only your brothers and sisters, what more are you doing than others? Do not even the Gentiles do the same? Be perfect, therefore, as your heavenly Father is perfect. So that comes to us in the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 5, 43 to 48. And it's this very strong statement that our love is to be demonstrated to all. So to get at that, I continue on. Jesus' command to love one's enemies startles and even offends us. When we think about what it means to love, love connotes ideas of strong affection for or attraction to another person. What C.S. Lewis explains as need loves in his work, The Four Loves. He explains, we are born helpless. As soon as we are fully conscious, we discover loneliness. We need others physically, emotionally, intellectually. He identifies 4 different strands of love, of which the first 3 derive primarily from need. The first is storge, or affection, which is a demonstration of familial love. Philia addresses the love between friends. The third contour of love is eros, speaking to the dynamic of sexual passion, which we call being in love. Goes on. Yet there is a fourth love, which the Scriptures laud and Lewis notes as a distinct gift love, and agape being its Greek name. Agape is a giving of oneself for the benefit of others. Agape exhibits a disinterested love, moving beyond the limitations of self-interest to actively pursuing the well-being of the other. So Lewis is saying there are need loves, and then there is the gift love. And the gift love is the agape love, which Jesus talks about and Paul talks about in 1 Corinthians 13. So I continue. The teaching of Jesus in this portion of the Sermon on the Mount is as critical today as in the Greco-Roman age. The political rhetoric of our own day is highly polarized. People see things in an either-or framework. I am right, you are wrong. I am good, you are bad. I am liberal, you are conservative. I am a capitalist, you are a communist. Such reductionist thinking simply leads us to hatred, bigotry, prejudice, and ultimately violence. An alternative perspective is essential for our survival. We must embrace an altruistic perspective which sees across boundary lines and refuses to be hedged in by issues of ethnicity, creed, language, or nationalistic fervor. To love, to love our enemies. You know, that's a challenge, right? It's a challenge personally. It's a challenge on a country level. But that's where Jesus goes. You know, he's not just saying something that is beyond us all. We are called to love our enemies. Love those in your family that you have a hard time with. Love neighbors that are challenging. People challenging at work. And it's not meaning you have a feeling affection. It's talking about a gift love. That you are able to rise up and beyond just your own concern. It's a disinterested love in terms of not just thinking about myself. So that's what Jesus is calling us to. Something that is very powerful, and it really would change our world. Love is something that you do. So will we do that? I close with this statement. If this is the case, then we are not to brood over our hurts by fanning the flames of resentment and bitterness from past wounds or injuries. We are called to let it go. As debris on the surface of a river floats downstream, so we are to let the negativity drift away, even as we anchor ourselves in God's infinite and indescribable love. Jesus gives us an imperative to be kind, and we must acknowledge that we can't demand a better world if we don't begin by changing our own heart. So if we can't let go of bitterness, if we keep on holding on to our own grudges year after year after year, then how can we anticipate and expect our world to do anything different? If we as Christians can't do that, then what about others? So Jesus looks directly to, the people who are listening to him and saying, hey, this is what we're called to love, to offer this gift love, agape, to others. So that's chapter 8 in Walking the Line. Trust and hope that you can give that a look. We'll see you next time.